How's it everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Sanctum Gamer here, and yes, we are back once again in Coral Reeches. I know it has been a while, ever since my game decided to start misbehaving. Since the last big update, I have been on a little bit of a hiatus, but here I am back again, and yeah, the game is up and running. For those of you who have been following me on socials, on Patreon, you know that I had a major issue with my save game where I was not able to load it. But thanks to members of the community, big shout out to Star Q especially, who helped me look into the game and basically got me back on my feet. So yeah, big shout out to everybody who helped, everybody who reached out, everybody who joined the live streams where we're trying to debug the living daylights out of this thing. Thank you all so much. We are back again. The city is functional. Pretty much everything is the way it was since we left it, except that I have been quite busy on the live streams. And in the live streams, we've been working on this town all the way over on this side, where we've been building this, what is this? It's a power station. So we've got a second power station supplying the region. And then we started this little town with a big quarry over in the corner over here. So this really, I've been quite active on it in the live streams every Saturday, and so the game has still been expanding. On top of this, well, not the game, the city. On top of this, I have gone ahead and put in a couple of road networks that have connected up this side to this area. So now you've got this sort of back routes that you can take. I've also got a train station down here that I plan on using at some point, and then I've put a couple of roads in just to try and, I don't know, get things done, make sure the game was functional, everything was working, and yeah, all is good. So we back at it again. What I want to do is I want to continue the expansion. The last time where we left off, we had just finished off this big massive harbor over here. And the whole reason why I did that was to try and supply the region with jobs. What I did notice though is that my population, even though it has grown back to the 200,000 plus mark, when I boot it up, it has a massive 10 to 15,000 population drop, which is not good. But I've got more than enough jobs. I've got 90,000 people employed. My unemployment rate is down to 6.6%. So I don't know what that is all about. What I do know though is that my simulation is running quite slow, as you can see, but from time to time it tends to speed up and then it will slow down again. So at this point, I'm no longer fussing too much about the simulation. I mean, it's not like I was before anyways, but now I really don't care. I'm just gonna go ahead and build. When I expand the whole place, try and get the region filled up as soon as we possibly can. Now, when I look at the region, right, my plan was to come to this side and continue the expansion, but I don't like how the city is just sitting along this area and there isn't much development that blends the city into the surrounding areas. So I want to try and do some development in this space, and then I'll jump back to this area. And I am still thinking that I'm going to have the airport somewhere in this region, and that's something that I plan on doing hopefully in the not so distant future. But for today, I want to start myself over in this corner where I want to try and lay out a couple of road networks and see if I can get this place blended into this area. Then in the next video or two, assuming I don't change my mind, I want to do a massive residential sprawl over onto this little hill over here, because I think that will help complete the whole city. That's what I'm thinking. That is my plan. I hope it's going to work out. For now though, what I want to do is gonna start off over on this side. We're gonna put some road networks in, and then we're gonna get cracking on this development. Alrighty, everybody, let's take a look at where we're at. We've built out a number of these roads all along this area, and this is a bit of a hill. So I'm thinking a small little settlement that sits on top of this hill. It's going to be mainly low density residentials, and then it's going to blend in with all of these areas. So this entire space is going to be primarily residential spaces as I start to close everything off. I still haven't decided exactly what I'm going to put on top of these hills, but I was thinking of some kind of nice upmarket type of apartments in this area. But then when I look at the fact that we've got a railway line that's running through here, it might be a little bit too noisy for that kind of stuff. So I've still got to wait and see what exactly it is that I'm going to put over in that corner. But this area is going to be the main central spot of this new settlement or this new neighborhood. So I'm going to try and get a couple of amenities as well as shops and the likes into this space. To start off, I was thinking that I could grab myself the elementary school. I quite like this Ruby Rock Elementary School. It's nice and small. So let's go ahead, let's grab it. Let's plonk that down right over on this side. Now, I'm not sure whether I want to get a high school into this place. I think it will be nice. So this modern high school one could probably fit along the main road over here. So if I plonk that down over on that side, I think it looks pretty decent. It's a nice big building around, I suppose, a major road. Now, the only other thing is I'm quite lacking in elementary schools. So this is something that I would definitely like to get a little bit more of. But when I look at the size of the elementary schools, I'm not the happiest with them because I can't really just plonk one in here. But I guess I could make use of this. This could work. Right, I think this could work for an outskirts area. I think this works. I'm not sure I can expand it though, because these expansions, ooh, that's cool. I think this area is quite far away from the main city, so I should have some kind of medical and perhaps fire in this area. All right, in the end, I decided I'm gonna go with the small medical clinic. I think it's a decent fit for this space. I don't think it can be expanded upon, but that is okay. It's not the end of the world. This USA Southwest firehouse looks pretty good. I quite like the way that fits in. It's got a slightly non-modern look to it, which I don't think it's too bad. And it's actually got upgrades. Fire engine maintenance bay. Okay, that just changes the building ever so slightly. So that is quite nice. That looks pretty decent. And then police, need to find a nice small one that, you know what, I can just plonk this tiny little one over here. And this actually does it. Oh, it's also got an upgrade. It's got a thing at the back. There we go. So now we've got almost all the amenities that we need in this space. We've got elementary schools, 2 of them. We've got a high school as well. Now the idea is let's try and maybe start in this corner where we can build up this space as nice as I can possibly get it to look. And then we'll start blending all of this area in and make it one nice, big, cohesive neighborhood. Alrighty, let us take a pause over here because I think I've been building quite a bit and I am getting to the point where I need to get into this little hill, and this little hill isn't going to be anything special. It is going to be just a massive residential spot that is going to cover this entire place, so just a whole lot of houses. So before I do an overview of what we've built so far, let me just fill out this entire hill and then we shall continue. And there we go. So now this whole place is filled with a whole bunch of houses, and I've put farms on the outskirts, or something that looks like farms on the outskirts of this entire area. So what have we done? We have built out a massive little settlement around here. So we've got the sort of central area with a high school as well as 2 elementary schools, which at least they're not completely full, so that is good. I put a little field here as entertainment, and then just spread a whole bunch of houses all the way along the side. Now these houses over on that side sit on a bit of a hill, so that gives this place a little bit of life, and I think that this is a little bit better than just everything sitting on a flat surface, which I think is pretty cool. I also left this road off over here. I was thinking of crossing this road into this area and getting some more houses or something else built around here, maybe some kind of a tourist attraction type of thing, but I will have to see. Over in this corner, I want to try and put some apartments and stuff. I think that will complement this whole area nicely. But before I get to that, what I was thinking was to transition over to this spot and put a pocket of industry all along this side of the railroad, so kind of squeeze it between here and here. I think that would be pretty cool. It will also help supply jobs to all of the people that will be moving into this area. And then over on this side, I don't know, we'll probably put a few more houses, some apartments or something, because I need to blend this area off nicely into the main city center over here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's probably start off on this side, and then we're gonna try and get a couple of industrial buildings and stuff into this corner, and then we'll work our way all the way around. Alrighty, so we have built out this little industrial pocket that sits right here in this corner. So when I started building this place, I just thought to myself, there's going to be a lot of trees and green that's going to make up this little residential space. And so breaking it all up with a massive point where it's just concrete, I thought it would look decent. So when I look at it from afar, it has helped fill out this gap between this little college over here and the main settlement that sits over on that side. And yeah, I think I'm kind of happy with it. I think I like the way it looks. The only thing I was not sure of, but in the end I'm happy with how I handled it, was this little elevation difference, because as you can see, this little industrial area is quite elevated in comparison to the main road, and places like this I am not particularly happy with the way they look. So it will be good to just have a couple more rocks that are placed in and around this place. There we go, we are done. And I think off camera I'll probably fill in 1 or 2 bushes in this place, but I think that's not something that is too important for now. So yes, overall I think the area is tying together quite nice. So here's an interesting observation I've just made. If you look closely, you'll see that my cars are actually moving a little bit faster than usual. And that, I think, is because when I rebooted into the game, I had a massive drop in population, like it was like 25,000 people just disappeared. And all of a sudden, the game seemed to have been running a little bit faster. I don't know if it's because maybe the game sees that, hey, this population I'm at is way too much, and so let me kill off a whole bunch of people so that I can maintain some decent simulation speed or what. But that seems to be what has happened. So if that is the case, because it's a big assumption, I have no idea if I'm right or wrong. If that is the case, anytime I boot up and I lose a population, I am just going to leave it. I'm going to figure the game knows what it's doing, so I will leave it at that. And if that means I get decent speed in my simulation like I am getting now, I will be more than happy. I will not complain at all. Rather get decent speeds in my simulation than that snail pace stuff that I had before. So yeah, thought I would share that. What I'm going to do now is that I am going to try and fill out the rest of this area, and then if there's enough time, I might come here and do a little bit of development before we call it quits. So for now, let's start over on this side. I'm going to join up these roads, and then I'm just going to get in a whole lot of residential areas, primarily in this space to the top right of the screen. And then I may just extend this industrial complex over into this area. I like the way the gray looks, so I thought I'll extend it out into this space, and then we'll maybe make some kind of a, I don't know, natural looking type park on this hill or something like that. And then yeah, let's see how all of that is going to turn out. Alrighty, let us take a pause. I think I have got this entire area filled in pretty much the way I think I wanted. So we've got the industrial area that is wrapping the railway very nicely. I just love the way the concrete is really prominent in this space. I think it breaks up all of this green quite a bit, and I really like that. And I decided over here I wouldn't just continue expanding industry because I'm getting rather close to this residential space. So instead I decided to place a couple of office buildings here, which I think in the end also look quite nice because of these parking lots that I was able to put using the roads. I think it maintains a little bit of that concrete feel, which I'm very happy with. And then of course, massive residential expansion in this space with just a whole lot of these one by whatever buildings that are sitting all around here. And then in this space, I just sort of start transitioning it into these low density residences, which will blend in quite nicely. The only thing is, I think I need to close this gap here a little bit. I think let me go back to that and we can put a couple of these. I don't know. I just like the way it looks when I have these dirt type things underneath the power lines. I just feel like it makes it look a little bit better. And thanks to the fact that my simulation runs a little bit faster, at least whilst I was building all of this, I saw people moving in, which I think was pretty cool. This is it. Everything is looking good. I see the simulation is slowing down again, but I'm sure when I reboot, my population will tank again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it will all come back to some decent speeds. And exactly as I suspected, got a little bit of a tank in population, not as much as the last time, but a tank nonetheless, and the simulation has gotten better. So I think the game probably builds up, I don't know, either dirty agents or something happens that causes it to get slower. But you know what? It is what it is. Let's go on. Now, I don't know, I think this video might be a bit long for today, but I want to try and finish off this area before I call it quits for the day. So I'm gonna remove all of these trees. I'm probably going to do a little bit of terraforming, and then we're gonna finish off by building what should hopefully be a very nice upmarket place of just a bunch of apartments, which I really hope it's gonna look good. But let's see. And then after that, we shall call it quits for the day. Alrighty, I think let's call it quits over here. I have got a small little, I don't know, some kind of shopping something in here, but I wanted to find a way to add a little bit of commercial just to complement and finish this entire place off, because this area here around the post office, I just wanted to keep it rather concretey, and I didn't like the idea of all this green extending all the way out to the space, and that's why I decided, you know what, in the end, let me rather change this to something that has a little bit more concrete. It's a little bit more urbanized of an area, and when you build from like one place, you don't see all of the stuff at the back here. So there we go. Cool. So that is that. I think all of this has come together very, very nicely. The only thing I'm not 100% sure of is whether or not I want to leave all of these buildings here. I do think they look a little bit dull now that I look at it from different angles, but I think for the purposes of today, this is going to do. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think I will change this now. If I will change it, will probably either be in a live stream or in a future episodes or off camera or anything, just to make it look a little bit better. So I decided to spice it up a little bit. I changed these two buildings, made them a little bit taller, and then I also changed the color of these ones to red. I think that stands out a little bit better than just the plain white / gray that was there. So yeah, there we go. I prefer this look. I think that looks a lot better. I am happy with that. At some point in the future, we will get this road to cross and make its way onto this island, where we will develop a little bit of residential spaces or something. Might be a unique building or something. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But then also along the river here, I think I want to put a bit of industry here. I want to introduce a little bit of gray because we're still fairly close to the main city. I want development to sort of look dense still. So we're probably going to do something along the lines in this area at some point in the future. It might be in a live stream. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But over on this side, Jesus, I've got quite a lot of traffic that is taking place over here. But I see most of it is coming in and then it's trying to merge into the highway. So it is all of these. I guess it's mainly here where it merges. So if I can give it maybe an extra lane all the way along, it should hopefully buy it a little bit of time. But that is a problem for another day, or it's an off-camera problem. I have no idea. I will figure it all out later. Otherwise, everybody, that is it. I think we are done for today. I want to say a big thanks to everybody who watched, who enjoyed. And if you did, please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well if you've been here a while and you haven't done so already. Don't forget to turn on all of the notifications, share the content, all of that good stuff. It really helps get the channel noticed. Big thanks to all of my patrons and YouTube members for the continuous support that you choose to show the channel. It is truly, truly appreciated. Enjoy the cinematics of our beautiful new area, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Cheers, everybody.